Hi, everybody. We're here again with Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener. Thank you again, Andy, for really pushing me to do this with you. The more I delve into the soil, the more interesting and kind of fired up I get. And I just can't tell you enough how much you're doing for our local community and how much I'm inspired by Vandana Shiva. I mean, she really is connecting the basis to everybody of our human civilization is the soil.
Exactly right.
Basis of all civilization is the soil.
Exactly right.
And human civilization, I'm quoting her because it was fascinating. Human comes from humus.
Yeah, right.
And humus is Latin
The
for
soil.
soil.
Exactly
So
right.
essentially, we are the soil.
Exactly right. We are the
That's
soil.
why you coined this from the soil to your soul.
It's so important. It's so important. And I watch her all the time. She gives me power to work. She says I say I'm not the only one doing this. I'm not the only one telling people we got to wake up, folks.
No,
And
I know. You have so much energy, Andy. And I've got to say to everybody a happy belated birthday to Andy. May I say your age?
sure, I don't care.
74, working hard, the hardest man I know, working hard, and doing what you do what you say. You're a living example of healing the soil, and I'm just
Thank you.
inspired.
Listen, I have to tell you something really cool. I have a next door neighbor. He had 1,000 acres in someplace. His company took those 1,000 acres and restored the natural habitat, restored the animals coming back, restored the birds coming back, restore the soil. And of course, we talked. He didn't know. He didn't think too much about microbes or minerals. He just wanted everything to be functioning back the way it was. And that was his business. And he sold the property. He lives next door, and he loves the website, and he understands about restoration.
You're
About bringing things back to life. He used animals. Animals used to roam through the place from their other next door neighbors and went down to the beach and destroyed everything. He said, let's channel everything. Let's make everything function. And they brought the creatures back, the animals back. They had to keep all the people's pets because they would go out to chase after birds. He said, we banned cats because the cats would kill birds by the thousand. It was very touching for me because I say, oh, wow, we want him as a guest. We want to tell people that other people can do this too. It's not just us. That's the whole point. The whole point is that you and I make up the world. The world as individuals have to stand up and say, we're not going to go for that anymore. That's why I like Vandana Shiva. I like what she says.
That's why everybody can grow a little bit of food
Exactly
and
right.
be dependent on their own supply. And just if everyone could get their hands dirty, get their feet in the soil. I mean, so why don't we start with the seeds, Andy? I know you have a pretty extensive seed bank. And, I thought about Olivia Newton-John last night because they recognized her in the Grammys, and she was a customer of yours,
Yes, she did.
you some phenomenal seeds.
I could run over there and get him and show him to you because John was her husband's name. John does a vitamin, a natural vitamin company or something along those lines where people take this product to make them feel better. So he goes around the world getting stuff originally from there. So he went to Peru. Him and Olivia went to Peru. And they toured all of Peru, and everybody loved them. This one guy came up to them and gave them these seeds that they had broken down into little bags. I mean, they're grains only found in Peru, from corn to whatever type of grain. And he gave two, one for him and one for her. And when they came back to the state, each of them came to me and gave me their package. I got two of them. And
Yes.
this packet, seeds can last forever stored, but I actually, Olivia says, you have to grow one of these corns. I can't believe that corn is amazingly purple and dark and rich. Grow that because they saw it in Peru, the way they were growing, and they ate some of it. It was like absolutely amazing. The energy they got from it, the food they got from it, and it was growing up in Peru in the high altitude. So what climate change, right? It didn't bother at all. So I grew a couple of plants, and it grew taller than me, really, really super tall. But the stalk was like that, and they had these things of corn on them, and it's like, holy cow. And just to grow those in the United States and the grains in the United States will blow people away because it can handle it. It can handle this. So yes, see, I knew from seeds right from the beginning. What's the point of being a gardener, right, if you don't have seeds?
Well, I always use starters, like I've said in one of your other shows. It was scary to go grow from a seed. But what I'm also realizing, what's so frightening, is Monsanto is the biggest holder of our seeds.
Exactly right. And it's
And they're
wrong.
not, I don't think those are genetically modified seeds, aren't they?
Monsanto
So,
is buying out organic seed companies and putting them out of business.
so what do
And
we do? We have to
that's
really,
his approach. That's his approach, their approach. We can't put you out of business legally. We'll buy you out, give you $1 billion, and you'll never see that company's organic seeds again. How's that? That's exactly what they do. And Monsanto, it should be wrong. 20, 30 years ago, I said, warning, danger, Will Robinson, because I was complaining about a corporation that developed a technology to change genes, right, at the gene level, put a chemical in there. And that should be a technology that should be open to the world. If the scientists were working for the benefit of mankind, we wouldn't be having any problems with food. Oh no, they put Roundup in there for the benefit of the corporation. And when they first said, well, we're going to put Roundup in this thing, and therefore we don't have to use as much Roundup, well, guess what? They're using more Roundup than ever before.
right.
And the genetically modified food, it's just that. It doesn't grow the way nature intended it.
No, it's a crime what's going on. I love some of these politicians that this isn't a democracy. This is a crime syndicate. 150,000 farmers have killed themselves in India
Yeah,
over the last 10 years because of Monsanto and
exactly
the
right.
pillaging
Not
of
just in India, in Africa.
their seeds. And you know what else they've done? They're trying to patent things that have been in India for thousands of years. Neem. She had to fight them to get back
Right.
store the neem, because the U.S. Was trying to say that they just created it, and then they actually patented it, and she had to fight, and she won.
Of
And I think
course,
she's
because
writing a book
they
on
won't
all
win.
the things she's fought and all the things she's won. So what could we do, like individually, Andy, in our own homes?
First thing you do is you learn to grow. The second thing you do is every plant, for every 4 or 5 plants that you grow, like lettuce, or you did the celery thing, you know how to produce seeds. Let it grow to seeds.
Right.
Generate your own seeds.
So you
See,
let one plant grow all the way cuckoo until it does
all
its
the way
thing,
through it, all the way through the
it
thing.
dries out.
Right, you want to learn how to pick it, because if you leave it alone, the wind will come and blow it. You have this seed, like you're going to have this, your seeds and stuff all over the neighborhood because the wind will
Celery
spread it
farm.
out. Huh?
So wasn't Jones property a PCH? Wasn't that a celery farm?
Yeah, right, exactly right. And so you have to learn the process, it's just like in cooking. Uh, and I've been doing it for so long, I'm actually, you learn, it's natural for me to let something go. When I was a kid, I used to let it go to seed for something internally said, let it go to seed. And I would be sorry. Oh, I hate to pick you now. I would wait for the seed to be fully, and then I learned from experience. If I grow that same plant from seed, the plant's totally different than if I bought it, from somewhere else, or brought the plant. Totally different, because genetically it'll start to change according to the environment it's in. And if it loves it here, it'll go nuts. It'll taste better. It learns how to deal with what happens is that the plant has to develop a relationship with the microbes in the soil. So there's no microbes in the soil, the plant's not going to have any relationship, and it's just going to be, okay, what are we going to do now, right? It's like, and that's the key to it. And I've learned that from experience, because as a good gardener, I always I had this talk with a lawyer who says about genetically modified organisms. And he was very upset because Monsanto took some guy to court, Montana somewhere, and they won. And the reason why they won, their logic was, there's nothing wrong with genetically modified organisms, and that's true, except for one minor thing. See, genetically modified organisms is broken up into 3 different categories. People don't know that. Genetically engineered organisms, it's one of them. Then it's genetically modified. Now, genetically modified is a little more tricky, because as a gardener, or you as a gardener, you grow tomato, like your tomato plants in your backyard. You say, oh, this is delicious. You take the seeds from that and you start them again. You're genetically modified, because tomatoes will be that particular genetics that you love in that tomato. You do that every year, you can have an incredible tomato that only you grow in your area. That's it. That's genetically modified. Everything you buy in the store is genetically modified. Humans are genetically modified. We're not any different. We are different, right? We're not identical to our parents. We're different. You see, so when people say I want my kid to have blonde hair, he's genetically modifying that product. So genetically engineer is different. And there's also another section where you say take a cell and expose it to nuclear radiation, and then it gets modified. We're going to use that. These people had the balls to say, okay, genetically modified organisms that are exposed to radiation is natural, so it should be organic. They took them to court and lost because they were going to run food through to radioactive waste, expose them to radiation, and then modify them. So how's that? So we have to be very careful in our understanding terminology, because it's not genetically modified, it's genetically engineered. It's something wrong when you take a gene of a pig and put it into a corn, or you take the chemical Roundup and put it into a corn. Nature does not do that. So it's not natural, and it's not. It should be studied for thousands of years, because what it does to people, what it does to the environment, is not an immediate thing.
Well, then why does it say non-GMO? It should say non-GEO?
Exactly right, because they're following the whole thing. Is no, non-GMO is wrong because it's not. They felt they have fallen. We have fallen for the terminology, and then they keep wanting to keep pushing that, because in the backs of people's heads, we're going to continue doing these. They want to say that radiation, it's natural, because how natural can it not be, right? They still want to put that in there, and that's why they're saying non-GMO, because it's what they really means, not genetically engineered. Because you take them to court, they will lose again and again and again. Whoever fights it, saying this is genetically modified, safe. See, but if they say genetically engineered, they will lose. And what's happening around the world, Monsanto is pumping money to get people onto their genetically modified seeds. And then they're suing them if they don't follow through.
Well,
Yeah.
Vindana, she's fought them, but so it just seems so ginormous when you talk of it on those terms, like the non-GMO marking is really, there's a technicality there. But
yeah.
Anyway, people understand that
Yeah.
we should be eating real foods.
Exactly right.
Food will have junk body. Hard to keep these children off the sugar. And the sugar's not even real sugar.
So wheat is not the same wheat that we have been eating for thousands of years.
You know what else I heard that is going on is they're trying to what is the word? Extinct. Put certain grains into extinction.
Right.
Amaranth. They're saying
right.
Amaranth. Well, people do eat amaranth.
Yes, they do. It's a wonderful substitute for bread.
They want to, that's really kind of,
they want to sell you their product. They want you to have no choice in buying. Look, the organic seed business.
Grow grain in California?
Yeah, amaranth will grow.
How do you process it? You have to have the whole.
It'll grow in the desert. So, yeah, and it's a grain.
We are a desert. People.
Yeah, and it'll grow as a grain. It's a wonderful grain. It'll grow. Lots of things that grow in Peru will grow here, because it's a little bit of a desert over there also.
Right.
But what's important for us to realize is that I was going to say that, okay, so they have all these companies that have been selling heirloom organic seeds, or all these organic farmers growing organic produce. Their very livelihood is being threatened because the chemical companies are making it very difficult. For example, there was a court case where the organic farmers sued Monsanto because their genetically modified seed was blowing over to them. So now they passed a new rule for organic certification. The first 10 rows cannot be certified organic.
I heard something like this. The genetic seeds were blowing over, so Monsanto busted that farm saying you got our seeds, when it was actually through the.
Right.
It's such a monopolizing crazy.
Exactly. And now to be certified organic, you have to say the first 5 rows of your property cannot be certified organic. And they're eventually going to say you can't even do your whole farm certified organic because these guys are all over the place. You see, that's what they want to do. They want to cut out years. What they say for years is you cannot feed the world if you're growing organically. That's the thing. That's what they're saying. You cannot feed the world if you're growing organically.
Right. That is not true.
That is not true at all. Not true at all. I'd love to get a conversation with these people. We're all going to starve if we want to grow organic because you're limited, and that's wrong. Absolutely. And what they say, I can talk to them word for word and counteract that because any knowledge and all, if you're a good farmer, it gets better and better and better. You produce more and more and more, and it costs you less and less and less, and the food is better. You're not destroying the earth as opposed to the chemical waste, which costs more. You're destruction, no food value, no. And a long time ago, I did a challenge. Any person who wants to grow 10 acres for 10 years with me for 10 years should be sponsored by individual people, companies, pay for it. Let's see what happens. At the end of 10 years, I'll be producing 100 times more than that farmer. It'll be sustainable. That means you leave it alone, it basically works by itself. The food has value. Everybody's healthier. And let me see what this guy will do. He'll have to pay more and more and more and more money, more and more money. At the end of 10 years, he says, I'm out. I'm done. The land is destroyed. Nothing's happening. And that's true. Rodale people will tell you that. They publish a publication. Everybody says that's wrong. That's from Rodale. That's what you expect from Rodale. Rodale's been doing organic gardening for a billion years.
Please spell that.
Rodale, Rodale.
Oh, Rodale.
Yeah.
And what is it? A catalog of a
No, see, they put out Organic Gardening magazine for starters.
Oh.
They're the people who did that for thousands of years, some long time. Recently, they sold Organic Gardening magazine to somebody else, but they maintain they have an institute somewhere that they do organic farming the whole 10 yards, and they do reports that you can read. The last report that I got from them showing how you can be sustainable, how you can really be sustainable, how the farm can grow better and better and better. And it challenges all these other things that chemical companies are constantly pulling out. I know you can't feed the world organically, right?
Oh, they're back. They're actually bringing that up.
Yeah, they argue.
That's so great.
They argue with anybody. Oh yeah, we can prove it.
It's starting to happen. People are waking up a little bit about this. I mean,
well, I hope so. I've been doing it for so long. I don't really see any movement. I go out there, see people eating junk food left and right. People are going just as crazy as ever, and I'm going. So is it getting better or is it getting worse? So, I mean, the bad guys are coming up with such clever ways of controlling us. Fear. They figured out fear. Let's scare the heck out of them, and they'll do whatever. And also food. If we give them crappy food, they don't have the energy to fight us. They're dying.
I mean, it's already hard enough with the water. I'm just hearing, God, the worst thing you could do is boil tap water. Don't.
Right. It's just concentrate. It just concentrates.
Yeah, the fluoride actually changes to fluorazine.
Yeah, right.
Makes you even more,
right.
Brain damaged.
And fluoride by itself has been known to cause brain cancer, just all by itself. And so when I first heard about it a long time ago, I said, "You're kidding me."
I know.
And it's not just for the body; it's the Earth's body. So we're constantly, all these homeowners, sprinkler system. Guess what's going out through their system? Fluoridated water, which kills bacteria, which kills the natural soil. So no wonder the poor soil is dying. Human beings are very good at destruction. We are very good at killing things, destroying things left and right. And it's hard to change that. I mean, I can't really get my hands around how do you change a human being's nature to go out and destroy things?
It's habits. You have to, I mean, it's kind of changing habits.
Consciousness, right.
And exactly, your consciousness. There's nothing bigger than our consciousness.
Exactly right. And that's important.
That.
And that's what we're trying to do. That's all I've ever been trying to do. And when my first book, How to Heal the Earth in Your Spare Time, I just wanted to say, you don't have to change anything. Just change your lifestyle a little bit. Be more aware of what you're doing. And I teach the 5 R's. You know what they are, right? What are the 5 R's? Reuse,
recycle, rethink, replant.
And I think this reduce, reuse,
Reduce.
rethink, replant. When I was a kid, they taught you the 5 R's. I said, you're missing the other 2. They're just as important. You know, when we think, do
Reminds me
I?
of the Ho'oponopono prayer.
Yeah.
Do you know what
What is
that?
it? No,
You know
tell
what
me.
that is? I love you. Thank you. I forgive you. I'm sorry.
Great, great.
Ancient
Excellent. I
Hawaiian
didn't take the phone off the thing. I missed that.
Ho'oponopono. Well, Andy, I think
I think we're
we
done.
got to wrap it up right now.
Yeah, that was it.
Everybody, thanks, Andy. Thanks for having me do this with you. And we'll do another one before the week's up.
Great. You're going to end it with happy growing again.
Growing.
Wait, say it again.
I knew that.
Okay.
Happy growing, everybody.
Organically, of course. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening to my show or watching it. See you next week. Remember, it's invisiblegardener.com. That's me, Invisible Gardener. Bye. Bye.